guys, today I'm going to show you how to make gingerbread men. I'm using a KitchenAid today, but you could also use a hand mixer or even make it with a whisk. I've washed my hands and pre-weighed all my ingredients. Adding 100 grams or 4 ounces of butter, 175 grams or 6 ounces of brown sugar, 100 grams or 4 ounces of golden syrup. You can find golden syrup in the supermarket next to the molasses and the honey. I'm going to start mixing my ingredients on the lower setting, and once I can see it starting to mix in together, I'm going to increase the speed. This is so it doesn't go everywhere. Continue until you can see all ingredients have mixed in together completely. Add 1 egg. I always crack an egg open into a separate bowl and then add to the mixture. This is in case I get a bit of eggshell in it. Mix until it is completely blended in with the rest of the mixture. Scrape down the sides of the bowl the best you can. Add 350 grams or 12 ounces of plain flour and 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda. I've got both of these together in this bowl. Start mixing slowly so your flour doesn't go everywhere, and then you can slowly increase your speed. Once it's all mixed together, the texture will be slightly crumbly, and that's the right consistency that we want. To make it easier to cut out the gingerbread mixture with the cookie cutters, I'm going to refrigerate my mixture for at least 30 minutes. So I'm going to tip my mixture straight out of the bowl and onto plastic wrap. I'm going to wrap it up tightly, and then I'm going to pop it in the refrigerator. When you're ready to make your gingerbread men, preheat your oven. 190 Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. With freshly washed hands, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my bench and I'm going to start kneading my dough. I left mine in overnight, so it's going to be a little bit harder. This warms it up a little bit and makes it easier to roll. Sprinkle some more flour and start rolling your dough. I started with a round ball and I'm rolling backwards and forwards, and it's becoming an oblong facing me. Now I'm going to pick it up and flip it over to 90 degrees and roll it again, and again it's becoming an oblong facing me. I can feel it sticking to the bench, so I'm just going to pick it up and add some more flour. If you can feel it sticking on top, you can also add flour to the top. At this stage I'm not worried about what shape I'm rolling out, I'm more worried about it being flat and even. I'm going to give it one more flip, and this just helps me make sure that it's not sticking to my bench. It's ripped a bit on the side there, so I'm just pushing it back in together and carrying on. I'm going to take my gingerbread cutter and I'm going to press him down firmly, and I'm going to give him a little bit of a wiggle to make sure he's cut all the way through. Then I'm going to rip my gingerbread so that I can get to my gingerbread man, and I'm going to place him on my parchment paper. I pre-cut my parchment paper so that I know it will fit perfectly on my baking sheet. Now I'm making my second gingerbread man, and I'm moving some of the gingerbread away so I can get to him again. He's looking a little bit rough, so I'm just going to pat down some of those rough edges. When I'm happy with him, I place him on my parchment paper, not too close together because they will spread as they bake. Repeat this process until you run out of dough to make another gingerbread man. Full instructions, the recipe and free printables can be found on my blog. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please like, subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks guys! Now I'm going to gather all my gingerbread dough and I'm going to knead it together. I'm going to sprinkle more flour, roll it out, cut more gingerbread men, and repeat that process until I have no more dough. Once I have enough gingerbread men covering my parchment paper, I'm going to slide them onto my baking sheet and then pop them in the oven for 10 to 14 minutes, a shorter time for soft and chewy, a longer time for firm and crunchy. The gingerbread men need to completely cool before you decorate. If you'd like to see a tutorial on how to make royal icing, please let me know, but for now we're going to use pre-made icing. I'm using disposable icing bags. Need to cut the tip off the bag so we can get the icing tip and pop it inside the bag and push it out through the bottom so that when I add pressure the icing will come through the icing tip. I want at least 1/4 inch of the tip to come out past the bottom of the bag, and I haven't cut enough, so I'm just going to cut a little bit more. I'm just turning down the edges of the bag a bit to make it easier to put the icing in. Then I'm going to squeeze some of the icing in, maybe just 1/4 of the tube. I don't need to use it all. If I need more, I can add more. Now I'm going to pull the sides of the bag up. I'm going to push the icing down towards the piping tip and I'm going to try and get any air bubbles out. I'm going to close the piping bag by twisting it so that when I add pressure, the icing has to go down through the piping tip rather than coming up out the end of the bag. You can decorate your cookies however you'd like. I've got indents, so I'm going to fill them in and then I'm going to do zigzags on the arms and the legs. You need to let the icing completely dry before you bag them. With freshly washed hands, I'm going to bag my cookies. I like the treat bags from Hobby Lobby, but you could pick these up anywhere. I'm going to open up my bag and I'm going to place 4 cookies inside. You could put however many you'd like in there. Then I'm going to take my wool. You could also use ribbon. I'm going to tie it in a really nice tight knot so that it makes it as best as airtight as it can get. And I'm going to attach my gift tag. My free printable tags and fold over labels are on my blog, stacey-lee.com. To attach my foldable label, I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to run my fingers firmly down on the fold so I get a nice crease. Then I'm going to take my bag and I'm going to fold the top over a few times. This will also ensure it's as airtight as it can be. Then I'm going to take my fold over label and I'm going to sandwich the plastic bag in between it and I'm going to staple it shut on both sides so it's nice and secure. Now we have 2 cute little gingerbread men packages to share with family and friends.